X10SYS Associative technology has solved one of the biggest issues in IT today. Across any organization, critical data is hidden away in many disconnected silos that don't know how to talk to each other. There's a severe lack of visibility, and bringing that information together is quite difficult and time-consuming. In under 10 minutes, we are going to walk through today how simple it is to create an entire associative information system by merging together multiple disparate sources in the X10SYS platform and immediately being able to ask questions and gain valuable insight without having to write a line of code. We can do all of this without affecting any existing systems in play, so there's no downtime to establish this in your business. X10SYS can offer you a single source of truth across your entire organization. Let me just show you how easy it is. Importing data is simple. It really doesn't matter where it's stored or what type of data it is. This platform allows you to merge it together seamlessly. In today's demo, we're going to bring in a few basic CSV files that any company may have. Instead of having to design a database, the structure of the system is created by the data that you bring in. X10SYS automatically reads the structure of the source and sets up the system accordingly. So can you see the columns here that are called the same thing? When we merge them into a new model, those duplicated fields are automatically merged. X10SYS deduplicates everything. There is no redundancy. You only ever work with unique values. Can you imagine the efficiency in that? So all we need to do at this point is bring in the data into the structure that was just created. There. Now we have a completely associated information system. And we can validate that by taking a look to see what data is in there. Interesting to note is that we keep track of the count of everything. Because we use unique values only, the system can easily keep track and let you know how many of what you're looking at. So what we just did in under a minute would take how long with traditional technology? Days, weeks, months maybe? So imagine what that means for your business. At this point, we need to ensure that the system can follow the relationships across the fields efficiently when you ask a question. So that's where bridges comes in. X10SYS gets you the answers you're looking for across an entire model by following the path through the bridges. Here, the system found two potential bridges. As the data expert, we have to tell it which is the most efficient path. And all bridges are bidirectional, which means that no matter where you ask your question from, you will always get the results of all possible answers in any direction. But what happens if we want to map in a source that does not have identical fields? We can do that manually. We go and we add a new source, bring it into our mapping area. We want to take this table and add it to the existing model that we just created. But as the data expert, I know that the two columns that have matching data in them are not called the same thing. All I have to do is map it. I'm going to add the table to this model now. I'm going to bring the data into the structure that we just created. And it's done. I can actually show you the mapping behind the scenes. I just refresh the graph, and now we can see the structure of the mapping from the original tables on the left to the model on the right. It looks like there's only one bridge here. So the system will automatically make that bridge for us, and we don't have to tell it anything. We can just go start to ask questions immediately. This page is where we ask our first set of questions to reduce the subset of answers to meet the context that we're interested in. When we imported, what happened is that each data element was embedded with all the information about it. So it knows its name, where it's from, how many times it appears in the different records, what it's associated to, and what relationships it has across all the elements in the model. So each data element is literally at the center of its own universe, which means it will reveal those associations to us when we ask for them. You don't need an IT expert or need to know everything about your data to get the answers that you're looking for. Let's take an example. What about orders in a specific area over a specific period of time? So there's 21 order dates, 18 products, 14 cities, and 9 countries. If we choose we're only interested in Europe, for example, the subset of results automatically reduces to those associated to the filters that I've added as I add them, which means I can never get a wrong answer. I only have European cities, only the products that were sold in Europe, only the dates of the orders that happened in those countries. So let's minimize the subset even further. We can then just process the results, and we'll automatically see that we got results from all 3 tables. We go to Visualize now. Basically, you can look at your data however is most relevant to you at a given time. So we'll go through a few examples. This is the multi-grid view. You can see the results from each individual table separately. There's the countries we chose, the dates that we chose. And here in this products table is very interesting because this table has no reference at all to any of the filters that we've already put in place. But we're still able to get the correct results because when you ask a question with the software, it looks across the entire model to find the relationships that exist. And we will always get the results whether or not the filters appear in any given table. We can also look at it in the list view. This is the results across the model to everything associated to the filters that we put in. Here we can actually drill in another level. So if, for example, I only want to see what's happening in Spain, the entire interface will update to show me only the associations to the filters that I've added. And you can see that it's keeping track of the history of all of the questions that I've asked, which means it can actually keep track of everything that happened with my data elements as I progress through my workflow. Let's take a look at the metagraph view. This is my favorite. This is basically what X10SYS looks like behind the scenes for this particular model. This is how all the fields are associated together across the model that we've created. But you didn't have to build it. It built itself. And it's actually a live graph, so it has the count of everything. And we can drill in another level. I just want Madrid. Let's see which employee sold in Madrid. Dexter. Lovely. So I can also look at it in composite grid view, my tabular view. And here I've got the results, the record set that encompasses all the relationships across all the tables in my model in one view. And I can go through the history of Madrid filter, Spain filter, and the original filters that I started with. We can sort on any field. Any value column, we can run basic calculations. We can imagine it could get pretty large. So we can minimize the fields to just what's interesting for me for my reporting purposes today, to whatever those are. And then I can go and automatically export it for further analysis. So these are just some of the powerful capabilities of the X10SYS associative technology. Because the system is so flexible, we're able to customize to your needs very quickly. I know you will find numerous ways to use this incredible functionality in your business. So contact us to find out how X10SYS can benefit you today.